I live in New Orleans, and my doorbell rang the summer before last. I open. It's a woman about 35 years old. She asks, "Are you Brennan Manning?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "Well, obviously we've never met. I was given your name by a friend, and I was hoping that I was just wondering if..." She started to cry. I said, "How can I help you?" She said, "My daddy's at home dying of cancer. I've asked the pastor of my own church 3 times to go and pray with him. Each time he promised that he will, but then he gets so caught up in his own sermon preparation, his administrative agenda, he forgets. I don't think my daddy has long to live. Could you come and pray with him?" I said, "I'll be there in 10 minutes. We go to the man's house. I walk back into his bedroom. He's lying on his bed. His head is propped up on 2 pillows. There's an empty chair beside his bed. I said, "Hi, guess you expected me." He said, "No, sir, who are you?" I said, "Honest mistake, I saw the empty chair. I thought you were expecting company." He said, "Oh, yeah, the chair. You mind closing the door?" I closed his bedroom door, wondering myself, what is going on here? This old guy says to me, "Brennan, I've never told anybody this in my whole life, even my daughter. But all my life, I've never known how to pray. Go to church on Sunday, my pastor talks in prayer, goes right over my head. Finally, one Sunday, I get the courage to say to my pastor, I get zilch out of your sermons on prayer. He reaches in his desk drawer, takes out this book and says, "Here, read this. It's by Hans Urs von Balthasar, Swiss theologian, best book on contemporary prayer of the 20th century." He said, "Brennan, I take the book home. The first 3 pages, I got to look up 11 words in the dictionary. Next Sunday, I give the book back to my pastor saying, 'Thank you very much,' under my breath for nothing. And that day, I abandoned any attempt at prayer till one day, 4 years ago, my best friend, who I don't think is very spiritual, says to me out of the blue, 'You know, Joe, prayer is just a simple matter of having a conversation with Jesus. What you do is you sit down in a chair, you place an empty chair in front of you, in faith, see Jesus on the chair, and he's there because he promised, I'll be with you every day until the end of time. Then just speak to him and listen as you would in a conversation with your best friend.' This old guy says to me, 'Brennan, I've been doing that 2 hours a day now, the last 4 years. I love to do it. I'm careful, in fact, cautious. I don't want my daughter to see me talk to an empty chair, you know. She'd say, funny farm for daddy. But you got a background in this. You think it's prayer?' I said, 'Joe, you don't have to ask me. That is so simple, so unsophisticated, so honest, so open, so real, that delights the heart of Jesus.' He said, 'Yeah.' I anoint him with oil. I pray with him. I go back to my house, and 2 nights later, his daughter returns to tell me her daddy died that afternoon. I asked, did he seem to die in peace? She said, yes, but I left the house at 2 o'clock to go to the store. He called me over his bedside, told me one of his corny jokes, and he kissed me on the cheek. When I got back just before 3, I found him dead. But she said, Brennan, strange, beyond strange. This is weird. At the moment my daddy died, he leaned over and put his head on an empty chair beside his bed. Do you know that, Jesus? Not about him, but do you know him? Is this the way that you relate to him?